Ciao Rachel.
Ciao.
Come stai?
Bene, grazie. Tu?
Io tutto a posto. Siamo carichi. Settimana prossima vado a Boston.
Quanto tempo ti fermi là?
Sto 10 giorni a Boston, poi vado 4 giorni a New York, poi torno da New York e vado ad Amsterdam.
Che bello, che viaggioni che ti fai.
Sì, no,
Alla conquista del mondo.
conquista degli States, sì, infatti.
Bravo.
No, è divertente, anche perché, diciamo, cioè all'inizio pensavo di stare soltanto a Boston, di fare il corso e andare via, poi ho detto, vabbè, sai che vado pure a New York e con la scusa incontro un professore che insegna alla New York University che ha scritto un libro sul digital marketing, si chiama Aninda qualcosa ed è il libro si chiama Tap Economy, qualcosa del genere. Quindi lo incontro, fighissimo.
Howdy, mate.
Hi, Chris.
Hey Chris.
Hello.
Howdy, folks.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Waiting for spring to get here.
Oh.
So, oh yeah, I have to flip my mind upside down. Waiting for spring, and we're waiting for autumn to arrive, which is fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to the day where I don't have to to experience winter anymore by choice. I think I'm only a couple of years away. I'm over winter. I'm over it.
So what are you going to do to not experience winter?
Just travel. So I'm able to get away from winter 1 month out of 3. So I've got winters down to 2 months a year for me now. And to get it down to 0 months a year for me.
Sounds good. Does it get very, very cold where you are?
It doesn't get that cold, but it just gets sort of like Seattle weather. It gets sort of 2-3 degrees and wet. So fairly miserable, I think.
So that's not motorcycling weather, right?
No, it's not. It's like the worst kind of motorcycling weather. So I'm going to chase the motorcycling weather, really.
Oh, wow. So does that mean that motorcyclists in your area, they only insure their bikes for halfway around the year?
We will get people that will insure for, say, 10 months a year. They'll deregister for like 2 months. But the majority of people will go year round. It's just there's less fewer opportunities really to ride, though. That's the downside.
Okay. Oh. So I sent a reminder to Daniel, because like the only way to get him onto one of our calls is to send him the link like when we begin. But I'm also aware that very often he's actually in the office during this time, so if he's in a meeting or something. And Mark wasn't sure he was able to make it today. He said he might be able to join late, but he wasn't sure. And
Gotcha.
so actually, he shared with me today in a Facebook message an answer. He got an answer from Vimala, I think, even though you did copy all of us in. Let me just grab it. I think she only replied to him, so maybe let me just see. Shall I copy and paste it or shall I read it? Hang on a second. Okay, wait. I am going to copy and paste it into the chat so that you can have a look at her answer. So that it was a question he put to her regarding creating an association. I think just kind of confirms that we need to be doing our thing. Surprise, surprise. Part of it's been checked.
That's disappointing.
Disappointing, but not surprising, I'd say.
Yeah.
It also sounds very much like it's not really in their hands, right? It's not a decision they can make, and I think they've always been struggling to create space for the boot campers, and I'm aware that there's a lot of pressure because we're a different category, right? We just belong to different sort of programs, so I can understand why that's not possible. Trying to look from the other side, from the actual MIT side and the undergrad and postgrad programs. I mean, so I still think the way to go is to do the what's it called, the Open Collective.
Open Collective.
But before we go forward with that, I still think we should open up the space for just to create space for all the voices of those who want to. So those who want to who have an opinion and want to say something about the association, and if we get an overwhelming why are we doing this, no way, then we can rethink it maybe. So I think the next thing that needs to happen is that we just share that survey that's been kind of boiling in the pot for over a month now, right? And we've been tweaking it a bit and holding off. I think we also held off because we were sort of waiting to see what the response from Vimala and team would be. Now that we do have it, I think we should proceed. So I was asking Mark if he's happy to share it into the channels. So between him and I, maybe we could share this survey. I'm not so optimistic about gathering. So I've been trying to get the cohort reps to gather mailing lists. So from what I understood, the older cohorts actually did have mailing lists. Like my class had one, and I know class had one. And then the more recent ones, I think, didn't even have each other's emails, and they were put either into Facebook groups or into WhatsApp group chats. And so some reps are just saying it would actually be more efficient to be transmitting any kind of message through those channels that we're using usually. So I'm aware that like the mailing list dream might not actually gel into anything at the end, because it'll always only be partial. And some reps haven't replied at all. I'll share with you the link to, so I created a document called Cohort Reps Messaging Capacity, where I was tracking like whom I've reached out to and who has responded. So we've still only got, right, let me just post the link into chat. So it's very piecemeal still. And actually we even got one, Stephanie, who, Stephanie from the first MIT Innovation Entrepreneurship Bootcamp in Rio. She's actually asked to step down. She says, oh, I think I'm too busy to be a cohort rep. And I also remember from her class, the other rep was Jose Abraham Garcia, who very early on, I think he never openly said, like, I don't want to be a rep anymore, but he was very much questioning of the fact that as soon as he sensed that there was a bit of friction between us and the bootcamp team, I think he got all kind of stressed out by the idea that we were moving in a space that wasn't completely endorsed, and he kind of disappeared after that. So as you can see from this tracking table, if you go into it, did I post it? Yeah. Yeah. So if you look at that tracking table, actually, we haven't really got messaging capacity. Like we haven't achieved complete reach, which maybe it's a question of just being patient and just working at it, like doing a job of knitting and patching little by little. So it might be that my intention to have it all done in a week or 10 days was just not viable. So I will keep that table in existence, and I think like many other things, we'll just kind of work at it little by little, and then maybe one day in 1 year we'll say, hey, wow, we actually got a list now. But until then, I think the best we can do is
Can you guys hear me okay?
Now I do.
Yeah.
Now I do. Were you speaking before? Did you get cut off? Oh, you're frozen now. Maybe it's me. Tommaso, are you sitting really still, or are you frozen? You were so still that you...
Like sometimes, like you need to. No, it's me.
But I could see you breathing.
I probably lost about most of the last 5 minutes.
Okay. Right. Can you hear us now, Chris?
Yes.
Wait, shall I? I'll remove video for a bit. That might give you a little bit more bandwidth. Yeah. So I was just commenting on
very clear
on the table. So did you actually get the link for the? So this is the tracking table. I'm posting it again into chat. So what I was saying is that the objective to get all, like, just map out the whole communication like potential hasn't happened. So we have piecemeal information, and if you look in the mapping, we have some groups some reps have said yes, we can post any messages into WhatsApp, and that's the best way to go. So we weren't able to yet create a complete mailing list. And I was saying earlier on that maybe it's just that I I underestimated the time it might take to actually build one. So maybe we just try and see little by little whether that table will actually fill up, or maybe it'll just be that we'll always have to message kind of just as best we can with what we have. So some groups will be in a way, some will be another, and some cohort reps will actually do the task and some won't, and some will say I can't and some won't even reply. So all of this might also one day get resolved if we actually have like more of a structure. So if we do then go with the open collective, then and you know what we spoke about last time, and we have more clarity around roles and responsibilities, because everything's pro bono now. So I also realize that some people just they may have lost interest, or they just simply can't keep up with what's needed. So this is just a very long way to say that this objective wasn't achieved. Like the objective I had was to, within 2 weeks, to actually create like just a situation where we'd be able to reach as many people as possible, but it's just going to be partial for now, and we have to, I think, just go work with that and see whether little by little this kind of fills up in some way. And I also said we lost cohort rep, but more or less. So Stephanie Nieto from the Brazil boot camp, which I'm still calling class 8, but maybe they're not. So she actually responded when I nudged her again, and she said, look, actually, I don't think I can actually fill the role of being a rep. And I was also telling you that Jose, who is supposed to be the co-rep, he kind of just, he was uncomfortable with, I think he asked a few times in the beginning, shortly after he was rep, he became rep. He said like, oh, but how come like boot camp isn't endorsing us? And he got a bit nervous about that. So I think he wasn't comfortable to be operating in a space in this gray area that we've been working in. So that's just to give you a heads up that class 8 probably doesn't have like a point person at the moment. So do we go look for one, or do we just maybe not? I don't even know who to yeah, I don't really, I can't even remember who's in class 8 right now. Maybe I can think about it. So I'm sitting with this concern that Nancy has, like suddenly she's saying, wow, if we could put in place something that looks like an association, it would be so helpful for just moving forward the reunion project. So I'm aware of that. In the beginning, she was afraid that might create like double complexity, trying to create, trying to organize a reunion. And also she was afraid that if we were trying to do the association as well, it would kind of be, there would be too many things for alumni to be addressing at the same time, and they might detract from one another. And now she wrote to me saying, actually, if we could have something in place, it would actually be really useful. So I'm thinking we should just go ahead with the survey and see what happens. And if we get a good response, that can help us decide. If we get a low response, we can make a decision, I think, and then take things from there, basically.
I'd agree with you, Rachel, and I sort of think that it's like the default setting is the open collective, unless we've got a really compelling alternative, I suppose. Not trying to sort of force anything, but perhaps to shape it, because I guess we're in that really tough spot of, you know, ultimate democracy over ultimate authoritarianism. You know, the benefits of democracy, everybody has a voice, but it takes forever to get the consensus. So maybe we go with a narrower consensus of open collective. It doesn't mean we have to stay there, but it's at least a platform at which we can start with. So the whole crawl, walk, run, fly thing, if that gets us crawl, walk, and we look at evolving to something else later, so be it. It doesn't mean the conversation ends on how we actually ultimately to achieve our ultimate form, I suppose. Open collective doesn't have to be the end. It could just be more closer to the beginning.
Yeah, I like that framing. I think it's probably the way to go about it. And Yeah, I also like to think of it as just one of the phases, and it's not necessarily definitive, as most collaborative things are. Right? So it might just be like the bridge towards something else, and it at least offers a like a short-term like a short medium-term solution, so that we can start doing things probably in a more kind of a more structured way. Yeah. What else? What else? Let me just have a look at the previous meeting minutes. So organizational structure, association naming. So yeah, I've had several potential calls with. So some calls I was supposed to have been postponed or cancelled. So it's kind of it's been a little bit of a kind of a messy time for me as well, because I wasn't able to dedicate very much time to this due to a big workload. So I've had lots of stuff to be doing for presencing. So I've been a little bit absent, but we know that these things kind of sometimes grind to a halt. I'm just a little bit worried about I think the most pressing thing right now is actually the alumni reunion. That's a project that needs to be hatched like quite quickly, and they're kind of, oh, hi Mark, good to see you. You're walking. Looks like your connection's not really good. Yeah, he froze a bit. Yeah, so I'm trying to, like, there's just so many things up in the air right now, and how do we make them work together? And I'm wondering whether we should try and I'll try and see if the next time we speak, whether maybe Nancy can come on as well, because it might be good for her to just give us like a summary of where she's at and what she needs, so that we can find the best ways to support the reunion planning. I think that's kind of quite important if we want anything cool to be happening on the horizon for the alumni. Yeah, so I'll just make a note to myself, connect with Nancy. Or either that, or whether we can. So I'm aware that Tommaso is going to go into a very busy period now, because he'll be traveling. So probably, Tommaso, you'll be in your course and everything. So
yeah,
you'll be off the grid.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I mean, this could be the case. Yeah.
Okay.
That's I don't know, because I mean the fact that next call is going to be in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks I think this is the last day of the course. Maybe I will be busy doing something there, but I mean, maybe it would be nice to say hi from there and just share energy.
It would be cool, but just see how it goes. I mean, your priority has to be there, right? So just see if it fits, and if it doesn't, as usual, just whoever can meet will meet up. And let me just have a look again at the survey. On 7th of August we said let's aim to get the survey out next week. So it's going to be it'll be like a month later. We have the official names of boot camps because we sorted that out with Mariah. Publishing space, I've had a call with Shantanu. We are trying, so I've reached out to Bill to just see how he feels about having a section of our alumni publication dedicated to mirroring parts or complete articles from his blog, and I'm waiting for his response on that, because if that were to happen, then the alumni publication, instead of having the tagline saying everything written by boot campers, it could be like the one-stop place for boot camp content, which would also include Bill's stuff. So we'll see if we can get him on board for that. And after he is on board with that, then we would then probably reach out also to the bootcamp team to see whether we can pull in their Medium publication, which has 6 articles with bootcamp news. then we would be able to have all of our sections, and then bootcamp updates and Bill blogs. That would be nice, because then we would have a one. But I don't know whether Bill might, see that as being kind of in conflict with what he's doing. So I'll wait to see. That's the update on the publication. And meanwhile, we're just pulling in as many bootcamp articles as we can get our hands on. Yeah, what else? Yeah, so I think probably just the next thing is just to get the survey out. And then
my guess with that one, a real quick one, Rachel, when it comes to Bill's content, maybe phrase it in a way of how can we go about sort of sharing his content, where it's going to be like properly attributed, but it's going to be also in sort of pushing the narrative of like, click here to join the boot camp or the next boot camp coming up. Because I think generally when it comes to content nowadays, it's a question of getting people to, the content's free, but how do you try and monetize it in some shape or form?
Right. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think so. I did send him. I can actually forward to you the email that I did send him. I tried to emphasize like what's in it for him and why would he say yes to this. I'm thinking he might. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. Go ahead.
I think he may. So I know he connects with Marius regularly, because Marius is the person who actually is manning and managing his blog. So maybe they needed a bit of time to decide. I'll let a week pass by before I reach out again on this. I think I sent it end of last week, so I'll just see. I'll give it a little bit of time, but I'll forward to you what I did right, so that you know. I hope I phrase it correctly, because I was aware that we needed to say like this is advantageous for you, because otherwise why would you say yes, right? So also in light of making his publication more well-known amongst alumni. So let's see how that sits. And if we get the survey out, I think then we'll just kind of see what happens with responses. Like we'll be getting clues as to how people feel about it on the one hand through the actual responses, and also through the quantity of responses. So if lots of people are responding, then we'll see that it's a topic that interests people. If not very many people are interested, we'll just speak with those who are, and maybe we could have I could actually schedule a Zoom call with all those who do answer the survey, and invite them to the call so that we can actually have a chat about it, which I think would be really nice, as opposed to just like, yes, no, and doing a poll and then going from that. Yeah, and I think and then we take it from there. So yeah, I think that's what we should do next. Hi Mark, can you hear us?
Yes. I'm so sorry about just jumping in the call, and yeah, I've been really in a tough 2 weeks. So yeah, I am happy to be here, happy to connect with you all again. Tommaso, Chris, Rachel, nice tan. And yeah, so I just overheard what you just said, and I agree. I think we should like set a call with the person who are interested. Did you tell them about the mail that I received from? The mail I received from from Himala, sorry. Did you tell them?
Yes. I copied and pasted it into the chat so that Tommaso and Chris were able to read it. So we agree that on that front, I mean, there is a logic to the response, and in any case, it seems to not be in their hands at all. It depends a lot. Even if they're advocating for it, it's going to take a long time. So consensus is that we move ahead with what the alumni think is the best way forward. I personally think that the open collector is probably the best solution, and we were also saying it could be just a temporary solution until we move to something different in the future.
Yes.
But it would offer a good stepping stone, I think.
Yes, I agree 100%, and I think it's like it's about taking the lead and pushing forward. So the survey is gonna give us a good insight on that. So yeah, I think that's great. I just want to know, like, what would you suggest I respond to Vimala? I didn't have the time to like forward this to you all, but I want to just maybe I could type in a draft, send it to you all. You could just see like what's our best way to respond, because she asked, okay guys, like you obviously want some help. There's some areas that you want. She's obviously wants to side with us and align with what we're doing. So yeah, I just want to think this through with you at this stage. We're putting the survey out there anyways. I'm in line. I think it's great, and I'm ready to post it, or whoever wants to post it whenever you want. Just about brainstorming about this alignment with Vimala, or with with
So I think for Vimala, because you're right. So the last thing she asked is, in the meantime, could you share what you're looking for through the formalized association? And I think the answer to that is actually in the introduction of our survey. We did say, like, why are we interested in forming an association? So it was to be able to create scholarships for boot campers, to be able to secure sponsorships and have like an entity for setting up meetups, that it would just make things easier. So maybe even just a kind of a copy and paste from there would be helpful. And I think that's probably all we need to tell her for now, because that's kind of where we're at, right? In terms of, and then either that, or we could, or you could add that since we are going to be sharing a survey to the community, we might get more insights also from the answers of the other alumni, and that we'll share those back to her, so that we keep her in the loop of like what is on the radar of the alumni, like why. So it might be, if you want to answer her straight away, just list like those points that we put in the beginning of the survey, explain to the alumni why we are thinking of creating this association. But I find it's a little bit of a funny question, because it's pretty obvious. Like, why would we want to create an association? It's like, why? Guess why? Like, what do associations usually do?
No, I think it's more discreet, or she didn't really ask directly like why an association. She's like, what exactly like are your problems? She obviously wants help. And I think I'm asking all these questions, Rachel, because I'm entering into something. I want to understand the diplomacy of the relationships, how things work. Because depending on that, we could either have Vimala on our side and be like, okay, do you have any things you want to ask, or do you want to add, or be like, listen, we're doing this, like it or not, this is being sent tomorrow. We'll give you some feedback and share with you like the knowledge. I think yeah, this is the way to go, and we're basically putting it out there. Listen, Vimala, these are the 3 things where we have problems with. I don't know if you have talked to her already about these problems, but this is it. We're already doing this, and we'll share with you the results, and and let's build that. Let's help each other to reach a better outcome for the bootcamp, right? So yeah, I'm just thinking through. I want it to be wisely done, with diplomacy, and just being wise about it, right? So I think it's just also a good timing. Like, she sent this email today, and we're just about to send the survey, so it comes at a good time to discuss it, think it through. But I agree with you. I think, and you have more wisdom about this because you've been already doing this a lot. So yeah, whatever you say, I agree. I agree so far that let's just do it and send it and be like, we're sending this out, and we'll be happy to share with you the results. Or what does Tomas and Chris think? Like, what are your thoughts and your previous interaction with Vimala?
I met with Vimala back in 2017. Also with Andrew when they were there. They were aware of what our intentions were. I think the point I tried to make with them was that for a boot camp that promotes the disciplined entrepreneurship program to where, you know, we want to get shit done, pardon my language, and move rapidly and effectively. We haven't seen much rapid movement in the last 5 years to sort of leverage what comes next. And I think that's what it comes down to, is what comes next for all the boot campers. There's nothing other than more boot camps. So being in business, I can see where they're going with, they want to continuously monetize the student base, you know, lifelong education, which I'm a big believer in. But you can become cynical quite quickly when you see most of what they're doing is trying to get you to spend money on the next program. And there's very little in the way of developing that community, that network. So I think where they have, for lack of a better word, failed to come up with a solution, that's where everyone who's learning how to solve problems is trying to figure out that what comes next. You know, we don't necessarily know, but we need a platform for which we can help and support and network with each other for what comes next. So I guess that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, it's similar to Chris' feeling. Even if, let's say, I mean, I joined this community, or I mean, at least, I mean, and when I mean community, I mean you guys. Not definitely the community they write on the website. I joined the community 1 year ago or 2 years ago. I don't remember anymore. Yeah, and since then, so we try to do our best. But yeah, I mean, Chris is right. So I mean, I think that's. I mean, they think as a business, and their business is to keep adding new boot camps. We have to think as a business. Our business is to make growing, and I mean, so we try to make partnership. It hasn't worked, so we continue our own way. I mean, so maybe, I mean, it's better to remain, let's say, lean, rather than try to enter this bureaucratic process. It takes forever, you know.
Yeah.
Just to have a stamp on our website. I mean, I'm not particularly, I mean, a fan of stamps, and because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this MIT is just a brand, you know. So just a way to sell your stuff more expensive. So, question is, I mean, are we here to spend many nights just to have one stamp, or are we here to help each other because we like to help other entrepreneurs because we think we might get something out of it? So, because I mean, in case the answer it is the second, and this is my motivation, I mean, we can also put a question mark on the logo, you know. I don't give a shit about logo, about stamps. So, I mean, I only care about people, and so that's it. So we are in two different businesses. So fun, nice, okay. This is my approach.
Okay, that's great. I think it's great to hear from everyone. I think it confirms, Rachel, what you're saying. So yeah, so I'm all for it. I think if you guys want that, I'll draft an email. I'll send it to you. You approve it. You're like, okay, we're comfortable with this, and I'll reply to her with you copied, and so that's clear what we're doing and what's our intentions, and we could kick off the survey. And I really loved, Rachel, what you mentioned about setting a time for us, for even people to discuss it. I think we can even put it out when we're posting the survey and be like, okay, we plan to discuss that, or have a setting for it in a week time, even to get the discussion going on what's happening, even just to set a time for it, and even have the representative of each cohort joined and be just set the tone and set the discussion on it. So yeah, so I'm all for it, and yeah, I think if anyone has anything to add on this, just let me know what you want from that, and I could just go ahead and post it. We can post it together. Rachel can post it. I'm okay with all options. I'm in line with the vision that we're doing and connecting people, making this continuous education. So yeah, so anything in line with this, I support, and whatever you guys say, I'm with you.
Thanks, Mark. I think it'd be really nice if you posted it, because sometimes I feel there's more of a team feeling if it's not always like me doing the communications. So I would be really glad to then post comments and things, but if you were to post it, I think that'd be great. I like your idea of mentioning already that there's going to be a dialogue around this. I would avoid maybe just telling them exactly date right now, because I'd like to connect with Gagan from India to make sure that we can actually maybe even host 2 calls for the various time zones to ensure that we're not just giving all the weight to one side of the world, and ensure that there could be a dialogue also for people in a different time zone. So it would be actually really nice, because we had spoken about doing mirrored calls to ensure everyone gets his basic. So maybe we could just add in that there's going to be a call that's going to be, and then we can then post that in the comments underneath the thread, so that we make sure that everyone who did respond to it will be informed about that. And we can try and activate the cohort reps. I was telling Tomas and Chris earlier that some are more responsive, some have completely disappeared, some are resigning. So we have a bit of everything happening. But we'll just move ahead with what we have, as we have always done, and something nice will happen, I'm sure. And I will also connect with Nancy to see how we can maybe have a call around how best to support.
All right, sounds perfect. Wonderful. I'll do that.
Great. So just let us know, Mark, if there's anything you want us to review still. I think that the last time I saw the survey, it seemed pretty ready to me. You can just add the phrase that will be, or if you want, I can do that. Just to add like a phrase in the introduction saying we'll schedule a call to discuss this on Zoom for whoever is interested in taking part in just brainstorming around that. Yeah, I'm always for like video calls. I think they're much more powerful than just posting or articles. So it's the human connection. Yeah. And yeah, and were you going to say something, Tommaso?
I'll just say human connection.
Right, yeah, the human factor. Yeah, so I think that's it for today, and I'll just post the recording link and the recap so that Dan can also catch up with what's been said. And we can also remember what we said in 3 days when nobody will remember what we said. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining. Is there anything else that needs to be said before we say bye? No?
Yeah, just wishing you all the greatest support. It's been a very tough couple of weeks for me, so I'm happy to be connected with you. I'm really glad to be going through this with you, and to share this human moment and connect all over the world. So yeah, so have a great week, and thank you so much.
Thanks,
and, yeah, like Rachel said, yeah, I believe that things will go in a great direction. Really good one.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you very much. Tommaso, have a great trip.
Thank you. I will do my best to bring some millions to Europe.
Go for it, man. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Awesome. Good shadow team.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Good night.
Bye for now. Bye.